WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. A Lowndes County man is facing a 9-count indictment involving 3 different businesses.
Jacob Ray Kahn is facing arson, burglary, fleeing, and vehicle theft charges. A grand jury recently returned the decision. Kahn is also facing charges in Monroe County after leading deputies on a chase into Lamar County, Alabama. He's accused of breaking in P&R scrap on September 30th. While there, investigators allege he burglarized, stole, and set fire to a truck. Kahn was also indicted for a break-in at Parker Sand and Gravel, where a building and vehicle were burglarized. He's charged in connection with a truck theft at Burns Dirt Construction and for damaging that truck.
Boonville police released video today after a weekend armed robbery. Investigators say the holdup happened on Saturday night at Kentucky Fried Chicken. Police Chief Michael Ramey says the robber walked in with a handgun just before 9. The suspect is described as a male, and he ran from the store after taking some cash. If you know anything about this armed robbery, call Boonville Police.
A Lowndes County man is indicted after being arrested for allegedly shooting at deputies. John DeLoach is charged with aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer. This incident happened in January just off Highway 12. Deputies were called about shots being fired. Now, in body camera footage, you can hear the shots ringing out and bullets flying by deputies. Investigators say DeLoach eventually stopped shooting and got into a vehicle, but he was pulled over a short time later and arrested. No one was injured in the incident.
The Starkville Police Department celebrates National Police Week this morning with a tribute to fallen officers. The department was joined by the Oktibbeha County Sheriff's Department and members of the United States Navy as they paid tribute to officers who died in the line of duty. Patrolman LaCorey Tate of Hattiesburg, Corporal Keith Crenshaw of Eupora, and Chief Anthony Lucas of French Camp were among those honored in today's service.
It's important that we never forget those who made the ultimate sacrifice in law enforcement. Sometimes we take that for granted. When we're at home sleeping, they're out protecting you. When it's raining, when it's flooding, they're out getting wet. So we just want to commemorate all those officers as well as the ones that made the ultimate sacrifice.
Starkville PD also made a donation to the Officer LaCorey Tate Memorial Foundation at the end of the ceremony.
Some frantic moments at a Starkville school today as a gas leak forces district leaders to evacuate the campus. More than 1,000 Armstrong Middle School students were taken by bus to the Starkville High School football stadium, where they were released to parents or guardians. Now, the evacuation began around noon after someone on campus at Armstrong noticed the smell of gas in the outside area of the band hall. Atmos workers arrived and determined that the levels were sufficient enough to clear the campus.
Really pleased, first of all, with our teachers and our students at Armstrong Middle School in the process of evacuating 1,200 students and over 100 staff, 100 plus staff members out of that school in a really short period of time.
A leak to a pressure regulator in the area of the band hall. Classes will resume tomorrow at Armstrong. Time for a first look at our forecast. We'll turn it over to meteorologist Jacob Dickey.
Hey, Andre, really nice out there this afternoon. Temperatures into the low to middle 70s. It's 74 in Tupelo with some dry air, nice crisp blue sky. 76 in Columbus, 80 in Jackson, 83 over in Shreveport. Warmer air will be on the way, but we keep things dry here for the next 24 hours or so. We may end up seeing a few scattered storms head our way, but not tonight. Tonight stays dry and cool. We're down into the middle 50s again. Feeling very nice to open those windows out there. As we look ahead, there's a chance for some scattered storms on Wednesday. I'm overall not too concerned about them, but a little bit more of a chance than we thought we had yesterday. Overall, though, it's a dry pattern. Some summer heat and humidity is also arriving. We'll time out those rain chances and let you know how warm we get coming up in just a bit.
As of May 12th, this year has been off to the wettest start on record. This month alone, Columbus has seen almost 6 inches of rain, and that has put a damper on road work and construction.
Our Riley Livingston takes a look at how road crews are dealing with this weather. She joins us live from Columbus. Riley.
The sun is finally out, and that means work is finally moving forward for construction crews all across the Golden Triangle. But days like this seem to be few and far between. Recent rains have caused workers to be put on standby and has also caused numerous delays. Heavy rains, floods, and tornadoes have all taken a toll on roads and bridges. Construction crews are doing their best to repair the old and build the new, but Mother Nature has been against them.
The rain's just been horrible, and it's been difficult to deal with.
Justin Harris says some weeks they're only getting in 1 or 2 days of work.
Well, operationally speaking, if you're not working, you're not completing the job, and if you're not completing the job, you're not able to bill, you're not able to bill against your contract, and things don't go as well as they should. So you typically see an erosion of margin on the projects.
When rain is in the forecast, crews do what they can to get ready.
If we see the weather coming up, obviously we'll try to mitigate that through changing our schedule a bit to maybe work some increased hours before the rain comes in to get us to a certain situation that makes sense, or we have to mitigate it after the fact. But we like to try to plan as much ahead of time so that we can get as much work in as possible prior to the rain.
Even with all that planning, sometimes it's back to square one.
You have a lot of redo work, which is a killer for productivity, for making money. You don't want to have to do things twice.
Concrete and steel can only last so long, and the recent weather isn't helping aging roads and bridges.
When you have an inclement weather event, that a lot of times it does affect that infrastructure. For instance, here in Columbus, the Plymouth Road incident, that we had the road washed out, and we weren't involved in that project, but luckily the city was able to get onto it very quickly. But I think you'll see more and more of that as our infrastructure ages and you continue to have weather events.
When the rain finally does clear out, workers still have to wait for things to dry out. Earlier today, dirt like this around here was still damp, causing construction workers have to change their plans yet again. Reporting live in Columbus, Riley Livingston, WCBI News.
Well, all it takes is one misplaced rock and there goes your windshield. Big trucks traveling our local roads can sling gravel or even worse.
It may be rare for your car to be damaged by debris, but it's not impossible. Our Stephanie Poole took a drive down the highway. She joins us live in the studio now with more.
Big rigs, commercial dump trucks, or log trucks, we pass them all the time. A couple of professionals share tips on how we can safely share the road.
It happened to all of us. While driving down the highway, you find yourself behind a big commercial truck. Dump trucks carry all sorts of materials that can sometimes wind up on your windshield, causing a significant amount of damage. Utah Construction Equipment Manager Don Stewart says it's not a common occurrence, but it happens.
I'm not saying anything can't fall out, but it's not very likely. We take, good measures to make sure that, for the safety of the public, we don't, harm anybody.
If you find yourself in this situation, Allstate agent LaFawn Profit says you should act immediately.
Try to get as much information as possible. The time of day that it happened, the type of vehicle, if you can get the license plate, anything along those lines to help your case out.
But Profits also warns that you don't have a lot of options.
If a truck is driving down the road and it kicks up a rock or a brick or something along that line, there's not going to be a whole lot that you can hold that company responsible for.
Stewart says the best advice is to proceed with caution when approaching large commercial trucks.
You're supposed to keep a minimum 200 feet behind them, but people don't always do that.
It's advice that even Profit says he follows.
I try not to drive behind a vehicle that close, especially if I see if it's a dump truck or a truck that's carrying wood or something along that line, especially when you see debris coming off of it. Best thing to do is try not to get that close.
Profit says to be careful when putting claims on your insurance for something that you can pay for yourself. He says remember the claims can lead to a rise in your premiums. If you're starting to get scratches, nicks, or cracks on your vehicle from debris damage, Profits recommends to take care of them as soon as possible.
All right, some good advice. A virus that could be dangerous to your pets has popped up in our area.
We have more on what you can do to keep your furry friends safe when we come back.
Welcome back. The canine distemper virus has resurfaced in Starkville.
Starkville police say 3 wild raccoons were captured within the city limits over the last month. 2 of them tested positive for the virus. Our Cash Matlock joins us live in the studio with more on this story.
Well, distemper is a fairly common and dangerous disease among the canine species, but area animal experts say there are several things you can do to help protect your pet.
I've probably seen 2 distemper cases in the last 5 years. So this is actually pretty scary.
Dr. Karen Emerson operates Emerson Animal Hospital in West Point. She says the recent outbreak of distemper virus in Starkville should be a concern for area pet owners.
The distemper virus resembles the measles virus in people. Basically, there's a lot of hosts out there. There's raccoons, there's weasels, there's foxes, coyotes. I mean, all those different types of animals carry the distemper virus.
Starkville Animal Control says the city has a large raccoon population, and those raccoons are causing the issue.
So what happens is a few infected raccoons can come around and show up with a disease, which is distemper. It normally affects the canine variety.
Dr. Emerson says pet owners who feed their animals outside are especially vulnerable.
Where you're going to feed your animals, try to put it elevated or have them in a contained area like an outdoor cage, like if you have them in a fenced-in backyard. And then once you feed your animal, pick the food bowl back up and bring it inside. Do not leave out the food bowls because that will attract the wildlife to come in. And like I said, distemper virus is shed through secretions. But if you vaccinate your dogs, you can leave the food bowls out.
And contracting the virus can sometimes be a death sentence for your pet.
If your dog is between the age of 2 and 6 months, you could actually, they could die from it. And then even older, they start showing really critical signs. They'll start actually having secretions come out of their nose. They may start having seizure-like activity. They'll start being really lethargic and depressed. So it's very, very serious.
Pet owners have been lucky so far.
There haven't been any dog cases, but the important thing is to keep your dogs up on their vaccinations. It is 100% preventable.
When you feed wildlife, you're risking your pet's life.
Well, a third raccoon was picked up for distemper-like behavior and is currently being tested for the virus.
We'll see some more warm weather head into our Wednesday. The chances there, though, for some scattered storms in the area. Coming up after the break, I'll time out the storms, let you know who gets rain and if we'll cool off anytime soon.
WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Jacob Dickey.
Another gold star day for us. Temperatures very, very comfortable. A lot of sunshine out there. Really the spring weather we've been missing for so long this spring. 74 out there still right now in Columbus. Picture perfect as we go into the evening. Notice those dew point values, though, are in the 50s. It's at 74 Columbus, Macon still at 77, 75 in Starkville and in Calhoun City. The dew point values are still generally in the 50s across the area. 57 in Columbus, 54 in Starkville, 56 in DeKalb, 52 in Tupelo. Because of the dry air, once the sun sets tonight, temperatures will fall rather quickly. By 11 p.m., I think we're in the upper 60s and low 50s. We'll be heading for the low 60s and upper 50s. We'll be heading for the low to mid 50s overnight tonight with a mix of some clouds and clear sky. Bottoming out at 54 in Columbus, 55 in Starkville, 57 in Winona and in Calhoun City. We'll get down to 56 tonight in Pontotoc. As we start our Wednesday, then more sunshine kicking on in here, quickly warming into the 70s by lunch. The afternoon could see a few scattered storms out there. We'll see temperatures climbing into the 80s across the area. 82 will be where we get in Tupelo, 83 in Bruce, 80 in Aberdeen, Amory, and in Fulton. As we head to the south, maybe just a little warmer for us in the Golden Triangle, and even some lower rain chances here. 83 in Ackerman and in Louisville, 83 Starkville, 84 in Kosciuszko and in Eupora. West Alabama has a good chance of seeing, I think, some scattered storms here. Also 80 in Solent, 81 in Vernon, 81 in Reform on Wednesday afternoon. Now, as we look ahead here, Futurecast looks at a band of showers and storms starting Wednesday morning off to our north. Even at 6 a.m., it has a few little sprinkles showing up along the 10 Tennessee border there. As this pushes to the south, it will likely weaken, but we may see another wave of showers and storms develop along that there. More scattered line more so than anything. And as that pushes to the south and it looks like it's weakening off, seems like the best chance for rain will be along and east from Oxford to Tupelo to Columbus and down towards Macon. Some folks are going to be left out to dry, like probably Louisville and over towards Eupora and Winona. As we look at those rainfall totals here again, the better chances for rain in the east, along and east of the US 45. A lot of folks still dry, though. Very scattered in nature is how it's looking. We also have a marginal risk for severe weather on Wednesday. Could see a storm with maybe a gust of wind or perhaps some small hail. That's about it. Not expecting a whole lot as far as things are concerned there. As Futurecast carries on through here, there's that band of showers Wednesday, maybe a few more showers on Thursday. We dry things out, though, as we get into Friday and on Saturday. Temperatures pushing into the upper 80s. I think someone's going to hit 90 by the weekend.
Gold was shining through Hattiesburg today with some history being made in the process. Highlights from softball state championships next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
The beauty of state championships is that they give us the chance to celebrate dominance and also history. Some of that history meaning three-peats or 10th team titles. For others, it's doing something that's never been done. With one more win, Vardaman takes home its first 1A softball championship, but they'd have to get through perennial powerhouse Smithville. The Rams pick up right where they left off on Monday. Mary Grace Davis with a base hit. Throw home, but the runner is saved. Vardaman takes a 4-0 lead early. Then Davis again, another RBI. This time it's a single, and the Rams now have a 6-0 lead. And Sarah Wooten, she's going to hit one right past the third baseman's reach for a RBI single of her own. 7-0 Vardaman. But here comes Smithville. Chloe Summerford. Scoop shot to second. Error at first brings home a Lady Knoll. Orlandria Smith with an inside the park homer. So 4 runs on the board for Smithville in the fourth. But bottom of the fifth, Maddie Terrell smacks one to the hole in deep left center. She'd also call ball game with a walk-off solo home run in the sixth as Vardaman dominates on their way to its first softball state championship. They defeat Smithville 14-4. It's the first team state championship since 1969 for Vardaman, who returned to Calhoun County as champions.
Fantastic. You know, we're in a county with Calhoun City and Bruce, and they've won championships in football and other sports, and it's just, you know, finally we can really call it a county of champions for sure, and we're a part of that now. We're just so excited for these girls, and I know this means a lot to our town, being the first one, and we're just, I mean, I'm just so emotional about it. I'm just so happy for them and everybody else.
I'm just very proud of this team and how far we've come, and they just amaze me every single time. Just thinking, gotta at least get on base and be the winning run or help my team out and get on base, because I know the batter behind me would have got a hit regardless. So I had to get on and do something, but a home run is just as good to me.
All I want to do is praise the girls and their efforts and their hard work throughout the year and throughout their, especially the seniors, throughout their 6-year career.
Pontotoc 1 win away from closing out Choctaw Central and getting their hands on the 3A championship trophy. Socorro Weeks hits one into the infield, gets overthrown at second, so the Lady Cougars take advantage, take a 1-0 lead. Top second, Maddie Pilcher showing off the guns again. Throw out at third. Gets the runner out. Bottom of the fourth, though, here comes Choctaw Central. Tia Rain Saunders with one deep to center for a triple. And same inning, Melanin Jimmy hits one to shallow center. Saunders would score, ties the ball game. We're off to extra innings again between these two. Top of the ninth, Socorro Weeks lays down a bunt, brings home a run for Lady Cougars, but it gets called out trying to get second. But bottom of the ninth, runners on second and third for Anaya Williams. She delivers with a 2 RBI base hit. Choctaw Central would win game 2 to force a game 3. At last check, South Pontotoc leads 2-0 in game 3. We'll have the recap and highlights tonight at 10 on WCBI Sports. History being made at ICC. Indians softball winning its first ever NACJC softball tournament championship, blanking Pearl River 8-0. Ingomar alumna Maggie Smithy delivering the final blow. RBI single to run rule the ball game in 5 innings. ICC will look to take its momentum to Pearl River on Wednesday for the NJCAA tournament, where they'll face Colin. Also college baseball, Mississippi State in action against LA Tech. as well as Ole Miss on the road against Arkansas State. We'll recap that at 10 as well. That's it for sports. Last Look at Your Weather is next.
Just a few scattered storms on our Wednesday. I think most stay dry. Maybe an isolated shower or storm still on Thursday. The warm temperatures, though, I really think by the time Friday and Saturday rolls around, someone is going to hit 90.
A 9 is coming.
Yeah, it is.
I think so.
It really is right around the corner. Maybe a few scattered storms also Sunday, Monday, but overall, not a bad one.
And a great looking weekend.
Yes.
Exactly. We need it. All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great night.